Hey there, how's it going? This video is coming out well after, but I originally made this game because Game Maker's Toolkit Jam was coming up in a couple weeks, so I really wanted to get back in the swing of things. I livestream every weekend over at twitch.tv/Vimlark, which works perfectly for something like the TriJam. If you haven't heard of it before, go check out the video I made for the first time I participated. There'll be a card at the top of the screen and a link in the description if you're interested. And while I'm talking about things you should check out, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, Southern New Hampshire University. They've already sponsored several videos, and it's been really cool seeing comments from those of you that are already attending. I'm all about learning, so if you feel like your experience is holding you back from the career you want, Southern New Hampshire University has one of the largest accredited nonprofit online degree offerings in the country. They feature over 200 degree programs focused on getting you started in or advancing in a career that you'll love. Check out their game programming and development program, which will teach you to create realistic dynamic gameplay experiences while working with game physics, AI, and assets for 2D, 3D, and interface design. You'll work with languages like C++, C#, and Java, as well as using engines like Unreal to create playable experiences for a variety of platforms. All of SNHU's programs are extremely flexible. There are no set class times, allowing you to work when and where you want. If you've started college and never finished, SNHU will let you transfer up to 90 credits so you don't have to start over. SNHU is radically affordable. Their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the nation and haven't increased in over 10 years. So if you want to kick off a new career or take your current one to the next level, click the link in the description to get more information and browse all their programs. Thanks again to SNHU for sponsoring this video. Now back to the TriJam. A quick refresher on the jam. The TriJam is a weekly game jam that runs from Friday to Sunday. At the start of the jam, there is a theme announced and you have 3 hours to make your game. Yep, 3 hours. But that 3 hours is only for your build time. So things like concepting and planning don't count towards your time. That also includes things like bathroom breaks or even breaks taken in a room that aren't meant for bathing. You run a clock while you work and you can stop it whenever you aren't actually working. This gives a nice flexibility to anyone taking part that they only need to find 3 hours over the weekend to make something. And I normally stream for 5 hours, so that's perfect for me. Because even with some pausing, I should have enough time to make the whole thing live. So when Sunday rolled around, I joined TriJam number 173 and was met with the theme of "You are the monster." Honestly, I didn't hate the theme and I even had an idea before the stream started. When concepting for a jam with this short of a time limit, it's really important to scope as small as possible. I always recommend planning for a game that you think you can make in half the time to combat the inevitable roadblocks and bugs that are gonna happen. And if by some strange chance of luck everything does go smoothly, you just have more time for polish. Although really in 3 hours, there's never time for polish. My initial thought was to take the idea of the shooting gallery game from Enter the Gungeon, where you need to shoot bouncy bullets from behind a line to destroy certain targets. With my thought being that instead of bullets, I could do something like monsters being bowled at people in a restaurant to cause havoc or something. But at the start of the stream, I was talking with my chat and I got this message. Your pipe from the Flappy Bird? Honestly, that could be kind of fun. You press it and they close together, so you gotta try and catch the birds as they come through.
He likes it!
That would, honestly, and that could be, that's totally doable in the time frame too. I left it up to a vote from the chat. And of course Reverse Flappy Bird won. This is the internet after all. Some of you may not remember the quick rise and fall of Flappy Bird because it was over 8 years ago at this point. Wait, really? It's been 8 years? I'm old. Flappy Bird was a game created by Dongwin under their dev company .Gears. Released in May of 2013, Flappy Bird wasn't noticed much at first. In the game, you play as a bird that flaps up every time you tap on the screen. You need to fly through pipes to increase your score, and that's about it. A very simple yet difficult score game. Over the next few months after release, the game became talked about and shared more and more. The snowball grew so fast that by the end of January 2014, it was the most downloaded free app in the iOS App Store. The views on the games were mixed, but one of the most reported topics was how addicting the game was. Most companies would be thrilled with that, but Dong was not. The month following being the most downloaded app on February 10th, Flappy Bird was removed from all app stores by the creator. He claims that he felt guilty over what he considered to be the game's addictive nature and overuse. Pretty crazy considering that at its peak, the game was generating around $50,000 a day from ad revenue. This was shocking to the point where people were selling phones preloaded with Flappy Bird because if you didn't have the game downloaded already, you couldn't get it anymore. Fun fact, I still legit have my old phone with the game installed. Think there's any interest? Okay, I was kidding. Wow. Flappy Bird has since had several different licensed releases, and the clones are innumerable. I completely forgot about this, but here is some of the earliest pixel art I did for a friend who was making a clone at the time. So I guess I'm coming full circle and making a Flappy Bird clone with a twist. In our jam game, the pipes are sick and tired of the birds flying through them all the time, and now they're out for revenge. In order to make the top and bottom pipes stay in sync, we actually control the negative space between them. I was able to make a rectangle that bounces when you tap on the screen, just like the bird. Then I made the hitboxes for the pipes and pinned them to the top and bottom of the rectangle we control. For an extra little oomph, the pipes need to smash together to eat the bird when it gets in between them. This was solved pretty easily. By pressing right-click, we tween the height of the rectangle from its starting size to 0, then back to its original size. Then setting the rectangle to invisible makes it look like the pipes are moving together and smashing together in sync. Randomly spawning birds is pretty simple. I made a box to the right of the screen, and every couple of seconds I just spawn a bird randomly somewhere within its bounding box. While testing what I had so far, using one button to bounce and one button to close felt really finicky and annoying. To test, I made it so that when the bird reaches the center of the pipes, they just close automatically. That just felt so much better, and we stuck with that. So with the pipes moving and munching, it's time to set up our lose state. If the bird hits the pipe or the pipe goes too high or too low in the screen, the game will end. I added a score counter to the top that ticks up every time you crush a bird, and that's the basics of the game. Really pretty good for the first hour, but the next one did not go so smoothly. Getting the game flow set up where little features like the birds bouncing off the pipes when they hit them, as well as setting up local storage so the high score will keep your high score even when you leave the game, all took more time than I expected. A good chunk of this is also because I do get very distracted while working on games live on stream. I just like to talk, I can't help it. But I had them working, so we had to keep going. Construct 3 has this really cool feature where you can live preview a game with a link or a QR code. So I had my chat all playtest to see how it felt and if anything was not working. FYI, the link only works while the preview window is open, so the QR code you see on screen won't do anything right now. But this is a really useful feature when it comes to getting quick feedback while you're working. The chat seemed to like it and said it felt good, so it was time to get onto the art. I grabbed a palette from lowspec.com as usual and started getting a background moving. This was meant to be a placeholder that I'd try to make better later if I had time. Shocker, I didn't. I then proceeded to be way too picky with how the pipe and bird looked, and I worked on that art for way too long. I legit wasted a ton of time drawing and redrawing the evil eyes that I wanted to put on the pipe for some reason. Then all of a sudden I had 10 minutes left and there was no audio in the game. I do have a lot of audio assets that I've bought through bundles and other ways throughout the years, but they take a lot of time to go through and find the right ones, which I did not have. So I went with the fastest option, which is just to use my face hole to make some sounds. I made a bunch of random noises that I hoped would work, cut it up, and added it into the game. If you have a sound in a game that repeats a lot and you only have one sound effect for it, it can start to get kind of annoying. So even in this time crunch, I made sure to make a couple variations of each sound. That way it doesn't get super repetitive, especially as you have to bounce constantly. This is a super small feature that makes your game feel more polished. And as I panicked trying to put everything in, with that my time was up. I uploaded the game to itch, entered it into the jam, and called it a day. I was honestly hoping to do a bit more, and I really got caught up with making bad art and wasted a bunch of time. The game is still fun, but with a bit of polish, I think it could be really cool. The game didn't do too bad in the jam either, tying for 4th out of 39 games, which is really better than I thought it was going to do, so I'll take it. Now, normally I don't go back and update my jam games, but there was something about this one that just screamed for a bit more shine. So over the next week, I fixed up the art a lot and added some variety to the bird colors. I added a swallow effect to the pipe when it eats a bird, which I just love. I also did have people say the game was too easy, which I definitely agreed with. If a high score game is too easy, I find they become more about attrition than fun. So I added a little change that every 10 points until you reach 50 shrinks the gap between the pipes permanently. After going back to check the original Flappy Bird, it had these medals that it would give you if you reached a certain point value. So not to be outdone, I added those as well. You get a bronze medal at 20, silver at 30, gold at 40, platinum at 50, and there's an extra special monkey medal if you can make it all the way to 100. I also added a menu, some music, and when I got to updating the sound effects, I found I had grown accustomed to the stupid voice sounds I made. So I mostly kept them and just added some extra pre-made sounds on top of them to emphasize. And in the end, this is the final result. I'm actually really happy with it. It feels really satisfying to play and is just silly enough to put a smile on my face. If you'd like to play the game, there's a link to the itch page in the description. It is set up to work on mobile, so you should be able to get the authentic feeling experience if you want it. And that'll do it for this Game Jam devlog. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this look at the making of Smashy Pipe. If you did, please give the video a like and be sure to subscribe so you can see the newest videos I make as they come out. I would like to give an extra special thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, especially my top tier patrons like Baron Earth, Enmark Games, Grim Mountain Games, Nightfall, Motzi Makes, Nazar Salim, Pixelator Gadsy, Salty Pretzel, Scott Hansen, Soapy Gnome, Some Dude, Straight Up Gruntled, and Warren Steven Rose. You're all awesome people and you help keep these videos coming. Also, a quick thank you to the sponsor of this video, Southern New Hampshire University. Be sure to check them out and start moving towards a career you're gonna love. I hope you have a great day or evening, and I will talk with you next time. Have a good one. Later.